Welcome to today's video. So I'll be starting from where I left off in the previous video. Okay, so after I got the report of the PET scan, I went in to see the doctors, and they explained to me that they've gone through the report and they can see that my body is responding extremely well to the treatments, and from the scan, the tumor has really gone down, like physically on my body you can't see it anymore, but that from the inside they could still see some tiny cancer cells in there. And in as much as they know they've actually done a very good job, but they cannot leave it at that, because living it at that is more or less like a wasted effort, because that little one in there can still start spreading again. So at that point, in fact, I didn't know what to say. I was just looking at them like, as in, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to tell me that I'm not going home? In fact, I was just disappointed. So I now asked what the next step was going to be. So I was told that they are going to start me on a new kind of chemotherapy. The previous one I took was ABVD chemotherapy. So now they're going to be starting me on ice chemotherapy, and that because of how strong and toxic the new one is going to be, that I would need a medical attendant present again. So at that point, I was just looking at them like this, like, what are you even saying? My mind has not even accepted the fact that you are telling me I'm still going to stay in India, and you're telling me medical attendant. In fact, at that point I was just disappointed, but I shall listen to what they said. In fact, they even gave me the option of maybe I should take the drug, because they could see I was really homesick. They can package the medications and all, and I go home with it and come back and complete it in Nigeria here. When I got back to the hotel, and I called my husband and we talked about it, we just decided it was better I finish up everything here in India. I finish up everything in India instead of having to come back to Nigeria and all that. So on the issue of the medical attendant, we just told my mom to get ready. Before now she had already gotten her passport ready. We just told her to get ready just in case she will be needed. So somehow I convinced them to start up without the medical attendant. I made them understand that since I stayed alone for this long, I think I should be able to stay and finish it up. Even though they warned me that the chemotherapy is not like the other one, that this one is way stronger, this, that. So on the 3rd, I think 3rd or 4th of January, I started off the ice chemotherapy. Like the previous one that runs once in every 15 days. This one is like 3 days back to back. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Then they give a gap of 14 days and start another cycle. You see that one, the first time I took it, I think it actually went well. I really didn't feel anything. No, nothing. Just went well. The 4th day I was discharged. I went back home. And the next cycle also went well. But you see the 3rd cycle, I think that was the final cycle. Yes, I did nine sessions for that ice chemotherapy. That's 3 cycles, 9 sessions. So that 3rd one, I started it like 3 days before Valentine's Day. Yes, 1st day went well. 2nd day went well as usual. On the 3rd day, I think the 3rd day also went well. Yes, 3rd day went well. Then on the day I was to be discharged, I had a panic attack again. Yes, I had a panic attack again. I don't know what happened. In all of this, they actually told me, don't eat uncooked food, don't do this, don't do that. And I actually adhered strictly to all their instructions. But you see, on that particular day, I was having this very strong urge for cake, and somehow, I wouldn't say how, but somehow cake came my way, and I ate cake right there in the hospital. Immediately I ate it. I'd already been up. In fact, I was about being discharged. I'd already, I was about dressing up. I've packed my things already, just for me to change from the hospital clothes to my house clothes, and I started feeling very strange. And before I knew what was happening, I had to call in the nurses. I don't understand what's going on. I don't think I'm feeling well. This, that. And before you know it, I was already losing consciousness again. And they started everything they were doing. But at that point, after the whole thing, I was told my oxygen level was already below 50. They couldn't get it. In fact, I didn't have a pulse anymore. In fact, how they managed to resuscitate me that second attack, they can't even explain. But thank God, I'm still here. So after the whole thing, I think they kept me for longer, and they didn't discharge me again that day. So they watched me overnight, and I think by the next morning I was doing well, I was fine, and they decided to discharge me. So I booked my Uber on my way home. I think that day was actually Valentine's Day. But on my way home, I started feeling very nauseous again. In fact, the feeling was so strong. I didn't know what to do, and I was inside Uber. I had to bring out. Thank God I had a nylon with me. So I had to bring out the nylon and started doing my thing inside there. So by the time the Uber got to, in fact, there was traffic. There was a lot of traffic that day. I remember. I think it even rained, so I couldn't just sit in traffic and keep waiting. I told the Uberman to end the trip, and I got down. Well, I was already close to the hotel. I got down. By the time I got down, I was dizzy. I was feeling all manner of things. But thankfully, at that point I couldn't even remember where I was staying. I couldn't remember the name of the hotel. I told you people before that I used to feel this state of confusion. I used to be in this state of confusion at times. So at that point, I didn't know where I was staying anymore. I was, struggling to remember. I couldn't, and it was dark because of the traffic. That I got to that point. I think that was around past 7 p.m. It was already dark. I was trying to remember. I wanted to take the faster means of transportation. I was trying to remember. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember where I was staying again. Luckily for me, I remember that I always had this complimentary card, the hotel complimentary card with me. Yeah, the manager is always handing it to me anytime he sees me leaving the hotel. He give it to me. Juliet, hold it in case you need me, call me. So I remember that I had that card, and I brought it out, and thankfully there was this very nice gentleman. I think the guy was just watching me at that point. It was, I don't know, maybe it was just God that sent him at that point. He was just watching me, and he came to meet me to ask me what's the issue, and I told him I'm trying to get to my hotel and I cannot remember. I don't even know the name of the area anymore. I don't even know the name of the hotel anymore. As when I now brought out the car, I remember that I had the card and I brought it out and I showed it to him. So he described the place to the driver, and that's how in fact, as we were going, I was just throwing up on the road. As we were going, I was throwing up on the road until I got to the hotel safely, and that's how I went in. And after that incident, I just kept vomiting, and there's this very nice nurse that used to come to help me with my injections at home. So my husband was trying to reach me, couldn't get to me, so I had to call him to come and check on me. And he came, and I explained to him that I've been throwing up since the day I came from the hospital, and he said I should start going to the hospital immediately. Really, they actually wrote it in my discharge letter that if I notice serious nausea and vomiting, I should get back to the hospital immediately or call the emergency line. But I have strong head now. I didn't call. So So when the nurse came, he was like, I need to start going to the hospital immediately. I told him I would go and let me like get a bit of my strength, and he left. Chidima did not go anywhere. I didn't go anywhere. So I just slept the whole thing off. Yes, I slept it off, and that's how I got myself like after 7 days, and I was up and fine again. So that's how I finished the 9 sessions of ice chemotherapy. And you know, at the point where they told me I was going to start a new chemotherapy, I was also told that it is important, you know, I also undergo radiotherapy. Yeah, I did radiotherapy. Yeah, I didn't even tell you people, you know, after the second cycle of the ice chemotherapy, you know, when I was going for the third cycle, you know, normally in my usual preparations, I wash my hair, I make my hair, you know, just tidy up everything. Normally I cook before I leave the house, because I know by the time I come back, I won't, you know, be strong enough to do anything. I just cook maybe stew or soup, and I just, you know, load it up in the freezer and I go away. So my usual preparations now, that day I decided not to wash my hair. I just decided to, you know, just loosen it and remake it. As I loosened the first, you know, I usually knot it. As I loosened the first knot and I inserted a comb into it, that's how a lot of hair, you know, came out with the comb. I'm like, what? What exactly? You know, at that point, I didn't even know what was happening. You know, it hadn't, you know, gotten to me that this is actually hair loss. You know, the first set of chemotherapy, a whole 12 sessions. There was no, you know, single side effect aside, you know, the minor ones I mentioned. I didn't even lose my hair, so I was so happy, because that was one thing that was actually freaking me out, the thought of losing my hair. By the time I combed it and, you know, a lot of hair just came out, I just asked myself, why so much hair? And it just occurred to me that this could be hair loss, and I didn't bother again. I just, you know, tied the hair back and I left it there, and I wore a cap. And I wore a cap on my head. In fact, I always wear a cap when I'm going for my sessions. So after that particular session, and I got home, and, you know, after the whole weakness phase and everything, I got stronger. I just started to look at my hair again to actually understand what was happening. You know, before then I didn't even notice I had already lost all my eyebrows. I didn't have brows anymore, but I didn't notice, I didn't observe it, I didn't know. So by the time I loosened the hair, and I just started to loosen everything and comb it, you know, as I was losing it, the hair was just falling. As I was losing, the hair was just the hair was just falling. You know, that's how I combed everything, and by the time I finished combing it, I only had hair in front. I only had hair in front here. It was so funny. So that same night, I left the hotel. I went to look for like a barbing salon, and everywhere I went, you know, it's India now, women don't really cut hair. So all the barbing salons I entered, you know, they were like, they couldn't even understand what I was trying to say, you know. The first one I even entered, those guys there, they are mean. They just chased me away. That what's this one trying to do? What's she trying to say? You know, until I got one that, you know, the guy actually understood English a bit. So I explained to him that I want to shave off the remaining part of the hair, and my hair was falling out. So he was asking me what's making the hair fall out. Said, do I have I don't even know what he called it. He should called one name like that. I said, no, I'm taking chemotherapy, and the chemotherapy is making my hair fall. So I want to shave it off. So that's how I did a clean shave and carried Gorima. In fact, that was the beginning of my Gorima part. Then I think I noticed a little bit of mouth sore. It was just one corner of my mouth somewhere here. It wasn't anything, you know, serious. So just, I think after like 3-4 days, the thing just dried up. So I think the major side effect I had was just that hair loss. That's how I also started radiation. You see, I underestimated that radiation. You know, it's just, I just felt like, since you just go there, just enter the machine, less than 5 minutes, we are out. No medicine, no injection, no nothing. I felt like, well, what is even this one doing to me? I don't even think he was even doing anything. I was so wrong. After the first week of radiation, that's when I knew that something actually happened to my body. I was extremely weak. I was always feeling exhausted. God. You see, that week, if there's any week that I know I really suffered, it was that during the process of that radiation. Because at that point, I was already running out of money. I couldn't do Uber like, before. Now, just leave the hospital, Uber would just carry me straight to the hotel. But at that point, I couldn't do Uber again because I was trying as much as I can, to make do with the cash that was left with me. So I started taking the train. Oh God, it was horrible. It was energy draining. Most times when I just get tired, I'll just sit on the staircase there in public. In fact, I don't even send anybody again. I don't send anybody again. So thankfully, I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, and by the grace of God, I completed the radiation in 3 weeks. So after that 3 weeks, that was when we entered the final phase of my treatments. So watch out for my next video to know what that phase is.